Today, we're going to count down the nail biter, the margin in each state in the 2000 presidential election. This one all came down to Florida, and there's a lot more competition on here than what we see today. We'll count them down from the widest margin all the way down to that narrow Florida squeaker. So first, let's look real quick at the background. So it's George W. Bush with the win. He got 271 electoral votes. He carried 30 states, and he got 47.9% of the popular vote. Al Gore ended up with 266. He got 20 states plus D.C., and he did win the popular vote with 48.4. So it's a half a point national popular vote margin there for Gore. We'll see how that trickles down into the margin in each state. So let's get right into it. Number 56 out of 56, including the districts. We've got the widest margin in 2000. That's, of course, Washington, D.C. It went for Gore by over 76%. Now, the widest place for Bush, it's Nebraska's 3rd congressional district. That went 46% in his direction. Now, the widest state, that's Utah. It also went for Bush, and he carried it by over 40%. Just under that is nearby Wyoming, also for Bush. Now, under 40%, we've got another super red state. It's Idaho. Then about 9% less than that, still over 30, it's Alaska. That margin is way higher than what we're used to seeing these days. Now we've got the widest state margin for Gore. That's Rhode Island. He won it by 29%. Just under that, we've got a couple of red states. It's Nebraska. Then it's North Dakota. Then a blue state for Gore. His second best state was Massachusetts. Then a 25% margin for Bush. It's Montana. Gore also has a state coming in at 25%. That's New York. Now we've got another district for Bush. It's Nebraska's first. Now, under 23%, it's South Dakota. Under 22%, it's Oklahoma. Then we've got Bush's home state coming in at number 41. It's Texas at over 21%. A half a point under that, it's Kansas. Now we're under 20%, actually under 19. It's Nebraska's second. A fraction under that, we've got a blue state. It's Hawaii for Gore. A little bit more narrow, it's Connecticut. That we're going back toward Bush. We've got Mississippi. Then on the East Coast, it's Maryland. Down into the Sun Belt, it's South Carolina. Then back on the East Coast for Gore, it's New Jersey. Still over 15%. We've got a couple more Bush states. It's Indiana. And the last one over 15 is Kentucky. Next, under 15% now, we've got Alabama. Then here's one for Gore back on the East Coast. It's Delaware. Then in the Southeast, it's North Carolina. Now we're past the halfway point. Number 27 is Illinois. That went 12% for Gore. Just under 12%. At the West Coast, he also picked up California. By a similar margin, number 25 for Bush is Georgia. The rest of the countdown is all single digits. We've still got 24 more to go. And number 24, right under 10% for Gore. It's known as a super blue state today, but it's Vermont. Coming in at 8.4%, we've got Colorado, but that went for George W. Bush. Another semi-blue state today, we've got Virginia, over 8% for Bush. Under 8% now. We're going to go into Maine. We're going to give it to Gore. It's the 1st congressional district. In the Deep South, we've got a super red state. It's Louisiana, but it went 7.7 for Bush. And even redder state today, we've got West Virginia voting for Bush by just over 6%. Almost the same margin, we're going to plug in Arizona in the Southwest. Then in the Northwest, at 5.5% for Gore, it's Washington State. Number 16 is in the South. It's Arkansas. It went 5.4 for Bush. How about a Rust Belt state? We've got one for Gore. It's Michigan, still over 5%. The last state over 5% or a likely margin is Maine at large. That went for Gore by just over 5. Now we're under 5%, and we've still got 13 to go. At 4.2%, we've got Pennsylvania for Gore. Number 12 is Gore's home state of Tennessee at 3.9. Then at 3.5, we've got a couple of Bush states. It's Nevada and Ohio. Just under that, we've got the former bellwether state. It's Missouri. It went for Bush by over 3%. Coming in at 2.4, we're going to give one to Gore. It's Minnesota. Still 7 to go, and these are all under 2% margins. For Gore, we've got Maine's 2nd congressional district. Number 6 at 1.3%. It's New Hampshire, and it went for Bush. Now the top 5 are all under 0.5%. So this is where every vote counts. Number 5 for Gore, it's Oregon, but it was only 0.3 for him in Iowa. That's number 4 in the countdown. Number 3 is Wisconsin, just 0.2% for Gore. Only a couple of states left. Number 2 is the narrowest state for Gore. That's in the Southwest. It's New Mexico. That was under 0.1%, about 0.06 for Gore. Then, of course, number 1 in the countdown, the narrowest margin in the 2000 election, and that state is obviously going to be Florida. The state where the entire race was fought, all the battles led up to a 0.01% win, just 537 votes for George Bush. So that's the countdown. And a lot of red and blue states, their margins are just way narrower than they are today, sometimes more than 10%. As some of that could be due to third-party challenger Ralph Nader. But even so, Arkansas, Louisiana, way narrower, but Alaska, way wider than it is today. On the other side, you've got Washington and Oregon, not dark blue states back then. Colorado and Virginia, those were still likely Republican states. Iowa, Missouri, and Ohio, those were considered toss-ups, especially in Iowa. Since then and the Obama days, the state has gotten way redder. West Virginia and Tennessee also look almost competitive in this election. Bush carried New Hampshire, the last Republican to do it. Even neighboring Vermont was under 10%. Some states also voted similar to how they vote now, such as Minnesota or Wyoming. But Nebraska also redder back then. It really goes on and on. You've got Gore from the South and Tennessee. Probably had an effect on some of these states. Of course, Bush also being from Texas. That might have canceled it out. So maybe the running mates are a factor. You've got Lieberman in Connecticut, Cheney in Wyoming. Either way, this was an absolute nail-biter. It really all came down to Florida. All the legal battles and the tension drawn out for months. Everybody was in suspense, wondering what's going to happen. With more than 10 states under a 5% margin and 6 states under 1.5%. Again, every vote counted, every dollar spent might have been valuable. Every campaign stop could have had an impact. Who knows what would have happened if things went just a little bit differently. But that's the countdown for the margins in each state in the 2000 presidential election. So let me know in the comments. What do you think about the countdown or this final map? How about the sheer number of competitive states? What's changed the most? What's changed the least? Let me know what you think down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.